there was a speech that Stephen Miller gave the other day.
Stephen morally iller. Stephen morally iller. Stephen Little B Miller. In the words of Lauren P. P-I-R-E-T-R-A.
Trump has delegated a lot of authority to him, and he gets a lot of leeway to basically do whatever the fuck he wants. Okay? He's like, if you watch Game of Thrones, he's like the king's hand. And in some ways,
Lauren P. salutes to her for this nickname. It is.
He's more hands-on, and he really steers the car, right?
We don't agree politically, we don't align politically, but this nickname is fire. It is very dope.
This speech by Stephen Miller.
It is very funny, but it is very befitting for this dude. He's so mucky, he's so disgraceful, he's so sucky, he's so fragile, weak, soft, tyrannical. F this dude. This bloke. This devil. F this devil.
Snuff out any and all dissent. Not all. You as one of the shadow presidents, because Trump has delegated. I don't want you to listen to me tell you this and you just accept it. I want hand, and it's always the king's hand. He even has like more power than the way to basically do whatever the fuck he wants. Okay, he's like viewed as one of the shadow presidents because Trump has delegated a lot. I don't want you to listen to me tell you of us. Okay, so. There was a speech that Stephen Miller gave the other day, where again he could not make this more clear. Like again, I don't want you to listen to me tell you this and you just accept it. I want you to hear it straight from his mouth. This guy is
the horse's mouth.
The shadow president.
The horse's mouth.
A lot of authority to him, and he gets a lot of leeway to basically do whatever the fuck he wants.
Crazy.
Okay.
Craziness.
Like Game of Thrones, he's like the king's hand, and in some ways the king's hand even has like more power than the king because he's more hands-on.
Nuts.
And he really steers the car, right? So. Stephen Miller gives a speech, and I'll show you part of it here in just a second. But look at this. So Jim Stewartson says the following. This speech by Stephen Miller is so deeply evil,
Agreed.
It's hard to fathom it coming from a White House employee. This is pure Nazism.
There are similarities for sure. Commonalities.
Ordered, beautiful, and
not identical, but there are commonalities. It isn't identical, but there are commonalities.
It's so deeply evil, it's hard to
it
fathom
isn't identical. It isn't. It isn't. It isn't identical, but they have commonalities.
Beautiful and normal.
They do share commonalities.
Abnormal. Following. This speech by Stephen Miller is so deeply evil, it's hard to fathom it coming from a White House employee. This is pure Nazism. The in-group is morally superior, ordered.
The R-dubs, the Republican Party.
The out-group is abnormal.
The Dems, the Libs, the Progressives.
By the way, this is
yeah.
directly from Stephen Miller. This is what Stephen Miller is saying. It's like he's saying, here's all that is good and here's all that is evil. And it is a speech that easily could have been given by Adolf Hitler himself or Goebbels, who of course Stephen Miller is the modern-day version of Goebbels. Both in ideology, but also in looks. They look fucking identical. Okay, let's continue. Been given by Adolf Hitler himself or Goebbels, who of course Stephen Miller is the modern-day version of Goebbels. Both in ideology, but also in looks. They look fucking identical. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, Goebbels, Goebbels. He was the minister of propaganda under Hitler during WW2 in Nazi Germany. Goebbels, Joseph Goebbels, Joseph space Goebbels, Joseph Goebbels. Yeah, he was the minister of propaganda. He was the Nazi minister of propaganda. Yes, he was the Nazi. He was the Nazi member of propaganda. People labeled him the master of propaganda. He was able to effectively deceive people into believing that certain dissenting groups, the Jewish population, other groups of dissenting people, were the ops. He was able to effectively deceive people into believing that certain groups of dissenting people, including obviously the Jewish population, is one of those groups. He was able to effectively deceive the public, the German public, into believing that these dissenting groups were the ops, the enemies, the threats. It was crazy. This dude, he was wicked, he was evil, he was immoral, he was all the way trash, all the way rubbish, all the way garbage, all the way scummy, bro. He was a monster. He was malevolent. He was all of these things. Terrible, abhorrent. Yeah, Joseph Goebbels, he was a politician. He was a morally mucky politician. He believed Jews were inferior. He pedestalized Hitler. Yeah, it was nuts. This dude, he was seen as a great orator. He was able to effectively articulate his thoughts, his views, his stances, his opinions, his remarks, he was able to effectively communicate to the public, to the people, to the residents of Germany during WW2. Yeah, this dude, he was in support of so many evil things. He was in support of the debanking of dissenting groups, the Jewish population, other groups of people he considered to be inferior. Yeah, he was in support of not just the debanking, but the economic and financial deprivation of people he disagreed with, of people who dissented, who opposed Hitler. Anybody who opposed Hitler he believed that the economic deprivation was warranted. He really did believe that the people who opposed Hitler were worthy and deserving of economic deprivation, of stripping of resources, stripping of money, of the taking away of the ability to make money, to earn money, to increase wealth, to increase abundance financially. Yo, Goebbels, he was evil. He was wicked. He was terrible. He was the epitome of dirt, of muck, of moral, of depravity, of wickedness, of evilness. He was the embodiment of devilment, of devilishness. F this dude. Miller, he shares commonality, he shares certain things in common with Goebbels. Yeah, Goebbels, he brainwashed the German public by with lies pertaining to entire groups of people who disagreed, pertaining to the Jewish population. Yeah, Miller is doing the same thing. He's brainwashing the public, the people, with lies pertaining to the entirety of the left wing of the Democratic Party, of lefties, of the left subgroup of the political spectrum. Yeah, it is crazy. Miller, he is for the debanking of people he sees as terroristic, as threatening, as detrimental, as deleterious, as dangerous. Yeah, Miller, he is doing the same. He has the same. He shares that in common with Goebbels. This wish of debanking people who disagree with the prevailing narrative, with the Trump admin, with the desires Miller has as far as immigration and things like this. Yeah, it is crazy, bro. They do share commonalities. Miller is not identical to Goebbels. Miller, he's Jewish. He's not. Stephen Miller, he is a Jew. So this is one difference that, between the two. they do have similarities. They really do have similarities. They do want to tyrannize people who disagree with them. They brainwash the public negatively with lies, with BS, with nonsense, with rubbish. They fearmonger. They make it seem like everybody who disagrees with the prevailing narrative is a threat, is the enemy, is scary, is a menace. It is crazy, bro. Yeah, Miller, he's not saying kill everybody. Miller. Another difference is that Miller isn't saying to kill everybody who disagrees with the prevailing narrative, or to do certain evil things to everybody who disagrees with the prevailing narrative. But there really are commonalities they both share. So yeah, there has to be fairness, there has to be logic when discussing this, when discussing these two, when you discuss these two, you have to be fair and logical. Yeah, Miller is not on the same level more morally as Goebbels, but there are similarities. Those similarities are crazy. Miller, another difference is that Goebbels had hair on his head. They somewhat resemble each other facially, but Goebbels, he had more hair on his head than Miller. So yeah, there are differences, but there are similarities too. So logic is important.
Given by Adolf Hitler himself or Goebbels, who of course Stephen Miller is the modern day version of Goebbels, both in ideology but also in looks. They look fucking identical. Okay, let's continue. The in-group goes to church on Sunday. Even Miller is Jewish, by the way. He's a Jewish Nazi. He actually is that. The out-group is violent junkies and predators. This is precisely how the Nazis spoke about their political opposition. It is a full-throated commitment
as if
to eugenics as
people who go to church are automatically above people who don't go to church. Just because you go to church, this doesn't mean you are morally good or laudable or virtuous. Just because you are a Republican, this doesn't mean you are laudable or virtuous. Just because you are a Republican, this doesn't mean you are automatically laudable or virtuous. Any group, any party can be there. You have people in all You have people of all parties who are terrible. You have people in each party who are good too. So there has to be a balance, nuance, impartiality.
He's a Jewish Nazi. He actually is that. The outgroup is.
You have good and bad seeds in all parties.
Spoke about their political opposition. It is a full-throated commitment.
You have good and evil people of all groups, of all communities. There are people who go to church who are positive, moral, laudable, virtuous. You have people who go to church who do scummy things, who are scummy, who are disgraceful, who are evil, who do wicked things, BTS, who do flagitious things, BTS. So you can't make monolithic remarks. You go wrong when you do. You go wrong when you make monolithic remarks.
As a policy, in reality, you just need identical. Okay, let's see. The in-group goes to church on Sunday. Even Miller is Jewish, by the way. He's a Jewish Nazi. He actually is that.
Crazy.
The
nasty work.
Violent junkies and predators. This is precisely how the Nazis spoke about their political opposition. It is a full-throated commitment to eugenics as a policy. In reality, you just need to watch Miller to see everything he claims to be afraid of. Hatred, jealousy, and violence. He's the most deformed man in America. Finally, when Miller precisely how the Nazis
Yeah,
spoke about
Miller,
their political opposition.
he's the epitome
It is a
of
full-throated
projection,
commitment to
of
eugenics
hypocrisy,
as a
of
policy.
contradiction.
In reality, you just need to watch Miller to see everything he claims to be afraid of. Hatred,
Yep.
jealousy, and violence. He's the most deformed man in America. Finally, when Miller brings up the
This
boogeyman
dude's
of
Miller,
Antifa,
he has the
it's
nerve
important remember
to
the
say
original Antifa were
the
anti-fascists in
Antifa
Weimar
people
Germany, who
and
were the first
lefties
people
who
sent to
disagree
Dachau.
with him, the
There is no
lefties, the
left versus right anymore.
the
This is light
leftists
versus death,
are deformed
says
in
Jim
their
Stewart.
appearance,
So prepare yourself.
mannerisms,
Here's the speech
dress,
that Stephen
the way they
Miller
dress.
gave
Yo,
today.
he has the nerve to say they're abnormal. He has the temerity to say they're abnormal looking. I mean, this dude, yo, it is crazy, bro.
Precisely how
It
the
is
Nazis
crazy.
spoke about their political opposition. It is a full-throated commitment to
Delusional,
eugenics
no
as a
awareness,
policy.
bro, no
In
self-awareness
reality,
meant
you
to
just
say.
need to watch Miller to see
The
everything he
delusion,
claims
the
to be afraid of.
shamelessness.
Hatred, jealousy, and violence. He's the most deformed man in America.
His shameless
Finally, when Miller
delusion
brings
is
up the
crazy.
boogeyman of Antifa,
Miller's
it's important to
shameless
remember the
delusion
original
is
Antifa
crazy.
were
His
anti-fascists in
shameless
Weimar Germany,
delusion
who
is
were
all the
first
way
people
crazy.
sent to
Miller's
Dachau. There is no left versus
Stephen
right.
Miller's
This is
shameless
light versus
delusion
death,
is crazy.
says Jim Stewartson. Hatred, jealousy, and violence. He's the most deformed man in America. Finally, when Miller brings up the boogeyman of Antifa, it's important to remember the original Antifa were anti-fascists in Weimar Germany, who were the first people sent to Dachau.
Which is the first official state-controlled Nazi concentration camp in Germany. This is the longest running concentration camp. This is the longest running concentration camp. This is the longest running concentration camp.